So today's video, we're unboxing the brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max. This is Apple's most powerful phone yet, as they claim every year, but this phone is going to have a 6.9-inch display, the new A19 Pro chip, and the next generation camera system. This is Apple's most impressive phone so far, and I've owned the last two flagship phones. So does this phone redefine what a smartphone can do, or is it just another overhyped phone? So today we're going to do a quick unboxing and first impression. New to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Let's go. So right out of the box, we've got the iPhone Pro Max sitting in front and center. As usual, Apple's gone to their minimalistic packaging, but the phone itself feels anything but minimal. You also get a USB-C to USB-C braided cable, no power brick as expected. And remember that this phone is eSIM, so there's no SIM eject tool in this one. I believe folks that's overseas that has the SIM does get that in the box. So here it is, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So this year Apple's using an aluminum unibody with a glass back protected by ceramic shield, and they call this ceramic shield 2.0. Now in addition to all this, they've also added a new coating that Apple says improves scratch resistance by up to 3 times. And just first impression on hand, it feels pretty sturdy, feel premium. Surprisingly, it is balanced for such a big phone. And one thing I noticed in this compared to the 16 Pro Max is that the edges are a little bit rounder, but the 17 does feel good in my hands. Firing it up, that 6.9-inch Super Retina XDR display really looks good. You can actually tell the difference between this and the previous model. You do have ProMotion built into this, 120 Hz, and you also have a peak outdoor brightness of 3000 nits, and Apple claims 2 times better contrast in sunlight. Now the screen itself, it does look vibrant, crisp, absolutely massive, and for media consumption this is going to be awesome. Whether you're watching YouTube, Netflix, or just browsing social media, this is going to be a nice place for you to be. Now under the hood, this iPhone is powered by Apple's new A19 Pro chip paired with 12 gigs of RAM, and for this version I did opt for the 512 gigabytes. However, the minimum you can get on this is 256, and I believe it goes up to 1 or 2 terabytes where you have to spend over $2,000, but that wasn't in the budget. Now Apple also added a vapor chamber thermal management system, which should keep performance consistent even during gaming or video editing. The heat does play a factor, so if you've ever been using an iPhone and it gets hot, it starts to throttle that phone, slow it down so it doesn't overheat. So hopefully this will kind of mitigate that whole thing. Battery wise, we're looking at a 5088 milliamp per hour cell, promising up to 39 hours of video playback. Now that's Apple's biggest battery ever in an iPhone. Notice a trend here. Now let's talk about the cameras, because this year's Apple is pushing the boundaries. On the back you do have a 48 megapixel Pro Fusion triple camera system. So that's a 48 megapixel main, a 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto. What's crazy is that the telephoto now supports up to 8x optimal zoom with 16x range and up to 40x digital zoom. So nice improvements in the camera so far. But I do think the biggest improvement was with the selfie camera. So up front, you're going to have an 18 megapixel camera that looks sharp and brings center stage support. In addition, we do have the latest and greatest Apple photography features. So you do have Smart HDR5, next gen portrait with focus and depth control, and even spatial photo for Vision Pro integration. Now this might be the most versatile camera setup Apple has ever made. With this camera, you can go from portrait to landscape without having to rotate the camera or loss of resolution. Now just a quick side-by-side, the iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the 16 Pro Max. As far as display, the 16 Pro Max topped out at 200 nits outdoor brightness this year. Apple bumped it up to 300 nits, making it easier to see in sunlight. It does have the same 120 Hz refresh, but the 17 does have noticeably better outdoor contrast. As far as performance, the 16 Pro Max ran an A18 Pro with 8 gigs of RAM, where the 17 Pro Max upgrades to an A19 Pro with 12 gigs of RAM. Plus, with the new vapor chamber cooling system, expect smoother multitasking and better sustained performance. As far as your battery life, 16 Pro Max maxed out at 4676 mAh, and Apple claims that this gave you 32 hours of playback, with a new 17 Pro Max packs a 5088 mAh battery and 39 hours of playback, so that's 7 hours more, at least that's claimed by Apple. As far as the cameras, both are going to have a 48 megapixel main sensor, but in this year, every rear camera is 48 megapixel with a massive bump in telephoto zoom, 8x optical zoom versus the 5x on the 16 Pro Max. And don't forget that the new 18 megapixel front camera, that's been upgraded from 12 megapixel from the previous generation. So overall, if you're on a 16 Pro Max, the 17 is going to be a bigger upgrade than normal, but brighter screen, bigger battery, more RAM, and a much more capable camera system. Now back to the 17 Pro Max. So connectivity is going to be top notch: 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, NFC, and of course MagSafe with fast 25-watt wireless charging. The phone runs iOS 26, which brings in Apple Intelligence, Apple's new AI assistant layer. So from what I've seen so far, it feels baked right into the system, and it's going to make the phone smarter and more personal than it was last year. So my first impression, iPhone 17 Pro Max feels like the ultimate iPhone: huge display, insanely bright screen, next level camera, bigger battery, Apple's most powerful chip yet, Wi-Fi 7, Apple Intelligent, and it feels like Apple's setting the stage for the next era of smartphone. But of course, the real test is using this day to day. So stay tuned, I might do a follow-up video where I put the camera's battery, Apple Intelligent features to the test. Let me know in the comment sections if that's something you want to see. Now, let me know what you think of the unboxing. If you want to see a follow-up showing the real world use, drop that in the comments. Of course, I will be testing it, updating the comments, let you guys know what I find if I run into any issues. But if you want me to test something specifically, drop it in the comments. Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.